on, Stellar Crew? Bob MacArthur here for Stellarvue Telescopes for the October edition of In the Sky. So here we are. It is October. It is fall. Fall is such a wonderful time to observe. You know, we have the summer constellations still kind of hanging in there with the summer triangles, Cygnus, Aquila, Lyra. You have the North American Nebula. So many great things still to observe there. We have the fall constellations starting to come up with Pegasus and Andromeda and Perseus. You got the Andromeda Galaxy. You have the Perseus double cluster plus Saturn. Saturn is just past opposition, so Saturn is looking great. You have all these wonderful comets to observe. There are so many. So we're going to talk about that. And I got my grab and go setup going on tonight. I got my Los Mandy lightweight tripod. I got my M2C alt-az mount, my SVX90T, and I'm looking forward to doing some of this observing tonight. So let's get to it and let's talk about what we got going on for October 2025. What's going on, Stellar Crew? So let's get to it. Let's talk about what we got going on in the sky for October of 2025. It is a busy month. There's a lot to look at. We start out the month with the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt, Ceres. I know some consider it a dwarf planet, but in the asteroid belt, it is the largest asteroid. It is in opposition with a magnitude of 7.6, so relatively bright. So check it out. You know, you could use Stellarium or Sky Safari or whatever planetarium app you use to be able to find it. So there you go. We also have the waxing gibbous moon near Neptune and Saturn. So as we're getting closer to that full moon, it's going to be up there by Saturn, and Neptune's way fainter, but Saturn and Neptune are hanging out really close to each other. So that'll be pretty cool to check out. We have 4 comets this month. We're going to start out with Comet C25K1 Atlas. It is at perihelion on October 8th, meaning it's at its closest approach to the sun. It'll start becoming really nice for us kind of in the morning mid-month. I like to use the Sky Live or, again, whatever planetarium software you like to use, whether it's Stellarium or Sky Safari, to find out where these comets are, because they move fast, so they're constantly changing in their position. On October 9th, the waning gibbous moon moves through the Pleiades. Now, it's fun to watch the moon kind of move like night to night across the sky, but what's really fun is to watch the moon actually move through the Pleiades throughout an evening. So check that out. On October 15th, 14th, kind of like it's right there at that midnight period, you have a nice waning crescent. It's just after third quarter, last quarter moon, so it's just starting to become a crescent, and it's hanging out with Jupiter, Castor, and Pollux near the constellation Gemini, so making kind of a nice quadruple group there. On October 19th, the very thin waning crescent moon is going to be just next to Venus. Now, Venus is starting to get further behind the sun, so it's getting further in its orbit, so it's getting lower in the morning sky. So we get that thin sliver of the moon with Venus. That'll be a cool sight. So check that out. Now, we got a good meteor shower, the Orionid, on October 20th and 21st. It is great. These are fragments from Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet actually gives us 2 meteor showers a year. This is the second one. So check out the Orionid, and we're really lucky because we have like virtually no moon out that. The moon is new on October 21st. So dark sky, get out to your dark sky location. Should put on a great show for you. And then we have our other comets. So Comet C25R2 Swan makes its closest approach. This will be a good one. Now, this is best viewed in the evening sky. Again, hit Sky Safari, your planetarium apps, to find out where it is for you and position. Based on your latitude, it might be higher or lower. So definitely check that out. And then the next day, on October 21st, C2025 A6 Lemon is making its close approach. There you go. This is also an evening sky comet. There's actually a few others. The Sky Live has them all up there. But one that's had a lot of attention lately is Comet 3I Atlas. This is the third interstellar object we've seen. So interstellar meaning, it's coming from another solar system, and it's making its perihelion at this point. So this object is going to be the middle of the month. It's going to be kind of an evening sky. and then in the middle of the month, move to morning. So again, these planetarium softwares, website like the skylive.com, Stellarium, Sky Safari, and I know a lot of you, there's a lot of other ones out there. They're going to come in really handy to find these comets because again, they're constantly moving. They're moving fast. I mean, they're perihelion. They're moving their fastest. So check that out. Find out where they are in your sky. And you know what? If you're imaging, get some images of these comets. Share these images with us. We'd love to, put them up in our future episodes, up on the Stellarvue website. So please share your images with us. We love seeing them. So there you go. Now, I know we're kind of talking about the solar system already, so let's get a little bit more into the solar system. The sun is still popping. It is still going crazy. I know we've had some big solar flares over or coronal mass ejections and some solar flares over the last couple months. I really like looking at spaceweather.com to find out what the sun's doing. And I know there's other websites out there, but we are still at solar maximum. We're kind of on the downslide of it. But, if you're going to view the sun, make sure you're using the proper filter. We at Stellarvue have white light filters that you can put on the front of your telescope. You can also do H-alpha. There's some great H-alpha scopes out there. But please make sure you're using the proper filters and proper equipment to look at the sun, because that may be the last thing you see through the telescope if you're not doing it properly. So please be careful. Now, like I said, the solar system is active. Saturn was at opposition. Neptune was at opposition back in September. So they're up all night long. Uranus is coming up a little bit later. I believe it's in the constellation of Taurus, kind of around the Pleiades. You have Jupiter coming up in Gemini. So we are starting to get some planets back in the sky, which is great. Venus is down there in that just before sunrise, but it's kind of getting lower and lower. Mars, it's there, but it's like not anything really crazy to look at. And Mercury keeps popping back and forth. So there you go. Evening sky, morning sky. Problem with Mercury is it's always so hard to get because it's so close to the sun. But like I said, we do have some asteroids. We got 4 comets. It is a crazy month for our solar system. So the Sky Live's good. I also put the Sky and Telescope, Jupiter and Saturn moon up there. So just Google it. Google Sky and Telescope, Jupiter's moons, Sky and Telescope, Saturn's moons. What's great about this is it's a little tool that you can set up what night you're observing, and you can see which moons you're seeing, when transits occur, things like that. I know some of the planetarium apps do the same thing, but I really like the Sky and Telescope tool because you can flip it based on the orientation of your telescope. So is north on top, is north on the bottom? Are you looking at the object reverse? So that's what's really nice about that tool. And then there's your moon phases. Our full moon is towards the beginning of the month, and our new moon is towards the end of the month. So plan your dark sky observing sessions accordingly. So there you go. And send us your pictures of Saturn and Jupiter and the moon, because again, we love to post those. Now let's get to deep sky objects. We are in a fun time right now because we're still getting some of that late summer Milky Way stuff. So you can get things like, the wild duck cluster down there in Aquila still, and still get some of those great open star clusters kind of through Cygnus and Cassiopeia, like M39, M29, stuff like that. But now Cassiopeia is starting to place itself really nice in the sky. So you can get some of those clusters like the owl cluster that we have there. Robert got a great shot of that guy. Now the other thing that's coming up is one of my favorite clusters, and that's the double in Perseus. So Perseus is getting a little bit higher. We also have Cepheus up there, which great deep sky objects, some really nice star clusters in there. So we also have some really nice globulars. They're all over the place there too. We have M2 in Aquarius. You have M72, which is a nice globular. And what's really great about M72, it's actually over there by NGC 7009, which is a planetary. So you kind of get both of those. And then one of my favorite globulars is M15 in the constellation of Pegasus, kind of right off the head of Pegasus. So M15 is great because it's up there, it's high. The Perseus double cluster's up there and it's high. Just a beautiful time to get some of these fall open star clusters. So let's talk about some nebula. Yeah, like I said, we're still kind of hanging on to those late summer nebulas like the North American Nebula, the Veil Nebula's up there doing great. You can still get the Ring Nebula, which is a planetary in Lyra. The Dumbbell M27 is still visible. So like I said, you can still get some of those late summer constellations, while some of those now fall objects are coming up, which, right now what's great is, again, I mentioned this before, you have Cepheus and Cassiopeia that are really nicely placed, where you can get the Iris Nebula, the Heart and Soul Nebula, so they're starting to get up there. We also have some planetaries that are still good. I really like the Helix. It's low, but it's a really good one, NGC 7293. It's a nice big planetary. Using filters will definitely help with this, like an O3 or a narrow band or something like that. Actually, just in general with planetaries, what's great about using like an O3 or a narrow band is you can darken the background sky and it pops out that nebula. So check that out. The North American's one of those too. It's if you're in a light fluted area, it's hard. So you got to get out of some dark skies. Get out there, enjoy the fall sky, dark sky, use the filters. In imaging, it helps pop it out too. And I know I already mentioned the Saturn planetary right there, NGC 7009, because you have that globular star cluster down there too. So a little popping around, seeing a lot of things. And there's a whole bunch to look at. I'm just hitting some highlights. I mean, like you got the Cocoon Nebula right there up there in Cygnus. So that was a great shot that Jeff got there. And then John, he got that boundary with a nice wide field view right there, boundary between Cepheus and Cassiopeia. There's so much to image and see in that area. So fun little just nebulas. We have the North American Nebula. I know we have the California Nebula that's coming up. Fall's fun because you get a good variety of stuff. Now, I will say, where fall kind of like maybe lacks, and you guys might argue with me on this one, is galaxies. Now, we have the Andromeda Galaxy. That's kind of the showpiece galaxy of the fall. So definitely get that. I love using a wide field in my, in my 90, but also in my 152. You throw in that wide field 30 or whatever wide field eyepiece, you get that just wide view of that Andromeda Galaxy. And actually, if you have big aperture, you can even pull out some of the globulars in the Andromeda, which is pretty cool. And then you kind of drop a little bit south. You can get the Triangulum Galaxy, which is there, M33. Nice little galaxy to get there too. I really like NGC 253. I think sometimes we forget about it. It's down there, but it is a great galaxy to get. It's a great visual galaxy. It's a great galaxy to image. So check that out. What's great too, because Pegasus is placed really nice and high right now, you actually are getting NGC 7331 or Caldwell Object 30 and Stephan's Quintet still really nicely placed. NGC 7331, Caldwell 30 is easier to get. Once you spot that one, you're right there near Stephan's Quintet. Stephan's Quintet is hard to get. It's faint. But if you can get C30, you're right by Stephan's Quintet. So again, those star chart apps really help find out where that Stephan's Quintet is. And then M74. M74 is kind of a nemesis object for me. I can get it. It's fine. I've seen it. It's a really nice spiral galaxy. It's kind of face on for us. Why is it a nemesis? A Messier marathon. This object is placed really low in the sun's glow, and it's a hard one to get to start your marathon. But right now, it's placed really nice to see for them in the next couple months. So check out M74 too. So a lot of great galaxies to look at. And if you have other galaxies, shoot us a message. So, mention it. Let us know what galaxies you like to look at in the fall, and shoot us some images. We'd love to see them. So, you know what I like to do? I like to round it out with some binaries, and fall has some great ones. And I always like to look at them, take some notes, and share them with you guys. So we have Eta Cassiopeia, Archard. It is a yellow-orange pair. So the yellow primary, that's the brighter one, and you get a little fainter orangish secondary. Nice color, and a really nice separation. So just a really good, just binary. So check that one out. And then I wanted to get difficult. I wanted to push the limits here. We have Mu Cygni. This one's tight, and it's a great test of seeing. Because if your seeing conditions are hard, the stars will blur together. Blurred together. There we go. But they're two yellower stars tight together. So see what you do. Hopefully you got some good seeing. See if you can get it. And then you have Alcura up there in Cepheus. It's right there in the middle of Cepheus. You'll see the box of Cepheus, and you'll see kind of a bunch of stars right there in the middle. It's the brighter one there. And this is another one. It's got a nice separation and actually a pretty nice magnitude difference too. So check out that one. Pretty easy one to get. And then this one's a big one. The one over there in Capricornus Algeti. It is what we call an optical double or a visual double. That's not actually gravitationally bound to one another, and they're really nicely separated. But what's great about these two, they're about the same brightness, yellowish orange in color, but they have a really large separation. If your sky conditions are really good and your eyesight's really good, you might even be able to see it without a telescope. Easy to get in a pair of binoculars. So I really tried to find a good variety, some tight, difficult ones with Mu Cygni, and then just some good, beautiful binaries to look at. So they're fun, and like I've said it before, with these refracting telescopes, the SVX line, and not just the SVX line, but the other Stellarvue telescopes, it's really fun to look at binaries, I think, because you're just seeing that color or the separation, or if you can separate it or split it, it's just really fun. So check out some binaries. It is October, and it is a wonderful month to get out and observe. Like I said, the weather's cooling down. We're getting longer nights, so we're getting better observing. Set up that telescope for Halloween for all your trick-or-treaters. Have them take a look at Saturn. They always get a kick out of that. We'll be past new moon, so let's see, new moon's the 21st. Yeah, 10 days to that. The moon will be out. You can show the moon to those trick-or-treaters. That'll be fun. Now, I will say this. I got a QR code down there in the corner. Vic and I are going to be out at Red Rock Canyon State Park in California. If you hit that QR code, it'll give you more information. Vic is doing a talk on the night sky and just kind of a journey through astronomy. We're going to have the SVX 180 out there for you all to look out and check out. I'm excited to be out there. I know Vic's excited to be out there. Check out the October newsletter. Vic talks about his kind of history at Red Rock and all the work that he put in there. We are excited to be there, and we are excited to share the night sky with y'all. So get out, come see us, come hang out. If you can't make it out, that's fine. Get out and observe yourself. Share whatever you're looking at with your friends and your neighbors, trick-or-treaters, and you guys have a wonderful October. Keep looking up.